Welcome to the losers bracket final. Team Nintorii against Team YEAAABOI, aka Fancy Pants. Best of 5 series. And it is the last best of 5 series of this tournament. We have a best of 7 in the grand final with a 1-0 advantage for the team that comes through the winner bracket. They actually also introduced now a game for third place that I'm probably going to cover. I'm not actually sure if I'm going to upload it. But what they are planning to do is to have a single map and have a normal draft but played out on an ARAM map, and then that decides the third place team, and they still get a little bit of prize money. Nothing crazy, but at least a little bit. So here we are in the loser bracket final. So whichever team loses is out, and then we're having of course the winner advance to the grand final. Now that I say that, by the way, I'm a little bit confused because normally who loses this match is third place. So when they say they have like a third place decider, I'm not 100% certain what's going on there, because with the double elimination bracket that's not really a thing. Anyways, they have this one normal draft ARAM map. We're gonna go over that later when we're actually in there. But for now, we're focusing on the losers bracket final between Nintorii's team and Fancy Pants team. This is normal drafts, by the way. We are on the North American server, obviously, so the Europeans that are playing for the teams have the ping disadvantage, same as when Cure, Madara, and others are playing on the European server in tournaments here. We have Caterpillar again on the side of the red team, and normally what we've seen throughout, I want to say the loser bracket at least, sometimes even before that, is that a lot of teams were targeting specifically Johanna, but also other tanks that Caterpillar likes to play, and trying to apply a little bit of pressure to him and exploit that he at times felt a little bit rusty. Now, this is something that Team Nintorii, at least for now, is not doing. What they're instead doing is, first of all, targeting Dino with that Tracer ban. Dino has been playing a lot of games where he just crushed it with Tracer. Sometimes he ran into some problems when the opponent was stacking too much CC, but generally speaking, his Tracer has been an issue for a lot of opponents. So what they're doing here is trying to get rid of that, and then also ban out Hanzo. Now, we get Tehaka. I'm still curious if we're going to get a quick pick into Hogger here from a European perspective. Normally when you're talking Garden of Terror, Hogger was always one of the biggest staples because he's one of the best to take the mercenary camps. Tehaka has been super popular in this tournament just in general. I mean, obviously also in Europe and other regions, he is always fairly high priority and always a good side laner. But I would say that they play him a bit more even, always trying to get that angle on a macro level. Here comes Diablo, and we have Brightwing. So, Fruitfly is in the house. And I'm a little bit intrigued, honestly, who takes it here. The E-Girl CEO account, by the way, belongs to Arian. So, Arian is tanking for the team right now. That question already popped up earlier in the lobby. So, some of the players obviously are running Smurfs. In the case of Team YEAAABOI, it's kind of interesting because it's Fancy Pants, but even the team is named after that account. Caterpillar again with this Johanna. I was talking about it just a second ago, that he likes to play Jojo, and that has been a consistent thing here, that she gets banned out. But together with that, we also have Maiev. Yeah, Chaotic is actually somebody that I would like to... Chaotic has played some pretty incredible games in the playoffs, and I would love to see him with just some of the stacking accounts again. I think his Cassia game, he ended up at 190 stacks with a Lightning Fury at his Q. It was just nasty. So if you at any point does get to play Cassia again, I would like to see if you can break that record. It certainly was the highest Cassia stack that I have seen in a playoff game, in a competitive game that deep into the tournament. I think up to that point, Dino was holding the record with 160, 170 stacks on a Volskaya game that happened a few years ago. Medivh gets banned out. Understandable, still kind of sad. Medivh always a fun one to have around. Good Medivh player. Like, watching a good Medivh player just empowering his team with portals is pretty epic. So I would not have minded a Medivh pick here. And then Leyline into Apocalypse is obviously another one that you can also try and set out. On top of that, let's see what the blue team is now locking in. It's still obviously game number 1, so who takes the lead on this? But here comes Blaze, and we get Sylvanas. So on a big map like Garden of Terror, when you have Sylvanas, you can also do a lot of side lane pushing. Still very, very curious what Nano is going to pick. Hanzo and Chromie, two of the heroes that he oftentimes plays, are both out. By the way, nobody went for Hogger, so we have Blaze now on one side and Tehaka on the other. with YF taken, you need a really good damage dealer now too. Now YF can bring obviously a lot of damage as well, but as supports, are we going to get Stukov to tether someone into that lurking arm, or what is the game plan? Falstad and Lucio. So speeding things up a bit with Lucio, then you have Falstad. So we're looking at a double global currently for them. So they play a double global on map number 1, Garden of Terror, which is definitely one of the bigger ones in the pool. We have, on the bans by the way, we have for example, Towers of Doom has been banned out, Volskaya has been banned, BOE has been banned, and Dragonshires. Those are the 4 bans for the series. So getting rid of some of the big maps here, but at least on this first one, Global should reign supreme. And there it is, it's hammer time! Nano with the Sergeant as we are going into game number 1 of the Losers Bracket Final. Team Nintorii on the left in blue as we're heading into the first map of the series with Nintorii on Brightwing. We have Nano on Sergeant Hammer. Sven is playing Blaze. We got Arion on Diablo and Iptings is playing Sylvanas. That is, by the way, an interesting smurf. E-Girl CEO. Alright, my friend. I would like to know the story behind that name, but that's probably for a different day. On the right side, Team YEAAABOI with Fancy Pants on Dehaka. We have Caterpillar on Johanna. Banana H is playing Lucio for the team. We have Dino on Falstad, and Chaotic is playing Maiev. Let's go. The Sylvanas crew is already making their way up towards the top. And it's going to try to have a little bit of an impact there. It's always the idea to try and take one of the towers down. If you early on rotate, especially on the big map somewhere where they can't immediately deal with you, then you have a chance of taking a tower down. Now, if this is really going to happen, you know, it's a different question. Down at the bottom of the map, though, the attempt to do the same thing with Sergeant Hammer, it was shut down right away. So, first blood already achieved. So much for that. Nintorii's team not off to a good start, let's just put it like that. Sergeant Hammer has of course the issue early on that mobility is a bit limited. Level 7 absolutely mandatory. Once that you have your Hover Siege mode, things are starting to change a little bit. But right now, that was a bit of a rude awakening. Maybe Nano isn't awake yet. Nano has a bit of a history of not being completely there when it comes to the first game of the series. And sometimes literally not being there because he's still in bed and sleeping. Thankfully for him, this is a North American tournament, so the time difference makes those games start rather late, at least for the normal European tournament time that we have on the weekend. So that means that Nano is here, but the question is Nano fully awake? Now that he was killed once at the beginning, I would assume so. Blue team still pausing the game here. Doesn't really seem like anyone disconnected. So I guess we're just having some audio issues or something along those lines. At least it didn't happen in a team fight. So that's always the nice thing. The 1 minute mark is obviously passed, meaning that the teams are now starting to go for their camps. We already have the first mercenary camp claimed by the blue team, as we just saw a second ago. Top side, there's already one moving on to lane that Sven will have to deal with. And the rest of the team is just following up with one camp after another. Falstad, for example, is trying to time this now properly here. And is going to do that, trying to defend at the bot lane. First of all, against the mercenaries here, the Siege Giants will stay behind the gate and will therefore be shielded for quite some time before they're starting to move in for this. Level 4 talents slowly kicking in, and now things should start to actually spice up a bit. So the early stage where you're just trying to get a couple of mercenary camps to apply pressure is more or less officially over, and now it's time to see if with a couple of fights they can start forcing the issue. The first seed is also spawning, so creating another potential... Oh, careful! Banana H and Dino both dropping low here. The 2 Europeans at the bot lane starting to run into a problem for just a second there. Yeah, Nano's again in position to try and take those Siege Giants down, but already we're having Caterpillar with Johanna trying to wrap around and attack from behind, and Nano gets ganked up on and is dead again. Yeah, well, they didn't really account for, first of all, Falstad, and then also for the move of Johanna to wrap around and really just pin everything down here. So that's the second time that Sergeant Hammer has now fallen, and the red team is starting to pull slightly ahead. Nothing too crazy just yet, we're still very early in the game of course, but at least the initial start is not really a great one for the team. So, a little bit unlucky here. First seed is up. So far, nobody has actually done anything about it. So nobody has tried to make a move for it. We have now in the middle a lot of destruction raining as the red team starts to take some of the structures out. I always wonder who's rebuilding all of this. Honestly, if Heroes would have been a little bit more successful, there could have been so much fun stuff that happens. Just imagine, for example, when we could have some cartoon series, you know, where every single time that a match happens on a certain map, you have a couple of like guys that need to go back onto the map and, you know, repair everything, put all of these little garden gnomes that are all there everywhere back into their proper position, rebuild the forts, rebuild the structures. You could actually do some really fun stuff with this. There were Blizzard games in the past that had things like that. Diablo 2, for example, had like all of these stories about the minions and what they would do when there's no heroes around. And I would have loved something similar in this game, but unfortunately we didn't go there. So right now the Garden Gnome actually is still standing, but let's see if it's going to get kicked around soon. Jojo, talking about things that are getting kicked around, she gets destroyed. That's the first kill finally for the blue team, so at least that happened. We got something out of that. And slowly showing their claws here. As Nano is playing with fire at the bottom of the map. He has summer siege mode, but he's still a little bit low. Here comes Lucio, and thanks to the level 4 talent, Nano is still fine. But I think this is very clearly signaling that he should slowly start to find himself a different position, because this is starting to hurt here. This is a little bit too risky if you ask me. But okay, we'll see how he's going to deal with that. Now that Brightwing moves in, I suppose eventually he's going to be in a better spot. The first seed went over to the blue team. The second one now fought over up at the top. Blaze trying to slow things down a little bit for the opponent, but the channel is about to happen and Banana Age is going to grab it for the red team. So he gets it fairly easily here. And again, blue team a bit in trouble, but Arian on Diablo is making a move to save Sven. Brightwing has also jumped in to help out, so everybody is still totally fine over here. As we're now having topside Falstad still slowly making his rounds here. We're also getting, of course, the attack and the next mercenary camp. So we're starting to fall back into a bit of a rhythm with level 10 now kicking in for the red team. And that will then pretty quickly also lead to them possibly, I was about to say, like, try and take a couple of the structures down, but honestly, now looking at it, they're already taking position around mostly mercenary camps. Maybe an invade here could happen, so there's a chance that we're going to get to see that. So far, it's not quite the case, but they get the kill. They're going for Sylvanas and take her down, and now they can steal the camp away. And the 5 versus 4 situation definitely works for them. No surprises when it comes to heroic abilities here. Sylvanas hasn't chosen yet. Given what we've seen in the past few matches, I would assume that we're going to get mind control again. But maybe given the composition that they're running here, they're deciding against that. With that being said, the bot lane is under heavy assault now. I mean, that's 2 camps that are pushing in here. And everybody's still sticking around, so the blue team has to respond in force in order to push this back. But there's a lot of destruction that is happening through the red team. They're doing a great job taking all of the walls out and opening up avenues towards those forts directly. They also have a bit of a better spawn position now for that seed that has just appeared, so a good chance that they're going to get that second seed. Blue team is going to try and respond in kind at the bottom of the map and attempt to take that fort out, or at least drop it a little bit. And since there's only 3 defenders, Falstad now slowly flying in, they might even be able to get some success here. Blessed Shield out, but not doing enough. Couldn't set a kill up, couldn't really get anything done with it. By now, we have, at the same time, still the defense. Nobody has, by the way, dealt with that siege yet. So, siege is still in place. Nobody has moved in for this. But with a double global, we have topside, at least Dehaka, doing some work. So, Dehaka able to take quite a few hit points off that fort. And at the bottom, they're aiming for Maiev, attempting to kill her. And Chaotic is gonna make it. Yeah, now with Johanna moving in, they're gonna make that work. Interrupt against Dino from Iptings, but eventually Sylvanas needs either more help or they have to give this up. And, well, more help it is. So the rest of the blue team shows up. And they're now trying to steal that away. I like it. Yeah, Diablo is zoning them out. They're getting good damage in against both of the Europeans as Nintorii starts the channel again. At the top, our side laners still fighting against each other. Gast has been used now too, and this seed is still up. We have Sergeant Hammer doing as much damage down at the bottom of the map as possible towards that fort with napalm and also the increased mobility that she now enjoys. But the fight continues. The globals have all joined the fun, and there's the disc to shut down the lightning breath. Diablo still with a little bit of bad breath over here as the blue team is now taking the position around the seat and trying to claim this one. Blessed Shield back up, used immediately, and Nano is dead once again. The third kill against Sergeant Hammer out of the 4 that the red team has thus far. And the attacks, they keep coming. Pretty much guaranteed to grab that seat now, and Dino is moving over, but they would have, of course, loved nothing more than getting even, well, another kill, maybe even more than that. So, job well done. When you look at the raw damage output, we now have 30,000 for Sergeant Hammer, who's at 3 deaths, and we have 13,000 for Dehaka. It's actually kind of funny. Dehaka is the top damage dealer for the red team, and he has 13,000 damage. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing if you compare that to what Sergeant Hammer has currently. But that doesn't do Team Nintorii any good if they can't get those kills, right? So it's actually pretty impressive how low the general damage numbers are on their side. Well, the 4 top has again suffered some hit point losses. Now with the next camp taken, they have another opportunity to try and push for it and take the first structure in the game out. Sylvanas could attempt to do the same thing at the bottom of the map. And now that the red team is showing up with quite a few heroes here and attempting to claim, oh, not only Sergeant Hammer's life again, but maybe also a set of siege giants. No! The Blessed Shield actually missed. Oh, not like this. Cattle. The timing. Oh, boy. So, yeah, as you can see here, check this out. Check the timing out on the Blessed Shield. He comes in and bam. And he has no excuse that he has some ping disadvantages. He definitely has none of those. He's playing on his home server. So, highly unfortunate. That could have been another kill. Instead, they're now about to lose Maiev. And the seed here is taken. So, each team is going to have 2 seeds to their name, meaning the next one is going to give us the first objective on this. There's by now a 1 level lead for the red team. So they have started to pull further and further ahead in experience and have done a very good job in controlling that nicely. Now the wall at the top is already being broken down here. Yep, and we do a little bit more and go straight for that fort as well. They're certainly trying, but they're up against level 16 talents now. With Maiev still dead, that probably doesn't concern them too much, so it's still going to be fine. Down at the bottom of the map, Sylvanas now in position. Iptings is going to be a bit more careful, has currently not a lot of vision on everyone. And with Maiev now being back, you definitely need to be cautious there. But they took the first, well, they took the first fort out earlier in the middle of the map. So, still fairly even. There is an experience lead for sure, but generally speaking, one team fight is going to get that to you. Brightwing, nice. Blessed Shield initially connecting. But now we have Lucio very, very deep and nearly dying on this one. I never really followed up on it, by the way, but Sylvanas went actually into Wailing Arrow. I highlighted this as a possibility when Iptings didn't immediately pick at level 10. We have seen a lot more mind control, but now we have Wailing Arrow. Lucio gets finally caught and killed, and Team Nintorii is on the move. They're trying to take Maiev down again. Not quite able to do that, but they are grabbing that seed. And this is going to be the set of Garden Terrors. And they definitely need them. The fort in the mid lane has been destroyed earlier. At the top, they lost another fort. The double global is really doing a number on them. And YEAAABOI, aka Fancy Pants, is now moving in there too. So they're losing a lot of ground with this. This is definitely problematic. What the red team is, on the other hand, now doing is defend the bot lane. Because the problem that they have is that the blue team has definitely figured out, well, we are in the long term going to have an issue with the globals. By the way, Blaze dying at the top lane against the 2 of them, that's definitely an issue. He was probably also attempting to keep them back a little bit. But the idea, the goal was definitely to take the bottom keep out, and that has not panned out. I think eventually Team Nintorii might have to go for a bit of a death push, because currently what it seems like is that they are going to die a slow death as the game continues, just because the 2 globals are running circles around them. That's what at least I would be concerned by if I was on their end right now. This was definitely a bit of an issue. Now, to be fair, the fort at the bottom of the map, for example, has been eliminated now, so this one's gone. They have also started to take some hit point losses up at the top. But they have taken 2 forts out earlier, even without the help of the objective, and they are going to be the next ones to get Garden Terrors, highly likely. I mean, again, they have still 2 seeds to their name, and once they have Garden Terrors up on the map too, we're going to see quite a lot fall here. So this is a bit problematic, in my opinion. I mean, right now, we're having Siege Giants, again, easily claimed. The red team is applying more pressure towards the top. But the double global on a bit map like this, if you play it right, should help Team YEAAABOI to get heavily ahead here. Since they are already looking a bit better. Once that those lanes open up, once the forts are gone, you know, you have like way more space to work with. And that's something that they're likely going to try and properly exploit here. Blue team is already pinned down a little bit. And it doesn't really help that the experience lead that I highlighted earlier of the red team has now been extended, so they are even further ahead when it comes to their experience gains. So with level 20 around the corner, this is really then when Team Fancy Pants needs to make sure that they're exploiting this and getting aggressive around it. Once that you have level 20, you need to make sure that you're making a couple of moves. You want to exploit that Storm talent as best you can, and this is all going to coincide with them getting their Garden Terrors. So this will be a brutal push. At least it should be. And still only 21,000 damage on Falset as the top damage dealer. Compare that to the opponent. 42,000 for Sergeant Hammer. And the rest of the team is also looking pretty good on their side. So they get the damage numbers out. They just can't get the kills, and they're even more struggling controlling the flow of the game and the map. So they are having some problems with all of this. Now, with that said and done, we have the Garden Terrors finally taken, and this is now the moment where they can start doing some work at the bottom of the map and try to not only take that fort out, but also work on a few of the keeps, and this is definitely what we're gonna get. Wind Tunnel into a corner. Nice. Here comes the drag. They're trying to make the play for Diablo. He's fully stacked with stoles. He's still going to die. The disc comes out and connects too. So maybe they can follow it up with another kill against Sergeant Hammer. That would go a long way. And they get it. So Diablo lost his soul. Sergeant Hammer is dead. And they're looking absolutely fantastic here. Because now they can go for multiple keeps. Maybe even for game. That is a fantastic spot that they're in. It's a stellar position. I mean, seriously. They're looking at such a good spot in the game right now that we might see them walk away with a 1-0 lead just through this push alone. Sergeant Hammer is the biggest damage dealer by far on the blue team side, and she's gone for another 30 seconds. Garden Terror still pushing in down here. They're hoping for another kill. If they can take one, then that would possibly mark the end of this. The siege is ready. The rest of the Garden Terrors has, by the way, been defeated, so they're not around any longer. But the core is slowly losing hit points. There's the Wind Tunnel trying to create a little bit more space so that they can finish the job. And Team YEAAABOI, ladies and gentlemen, is going to make it happen. They have the time, they have the space, and they lock in the victory on Garden of Terror, the lead in this best of 5 series, the losers bracket final of the Captain's Clash. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Second map is up. We're going to Sky Temple. Team YEAAABOI has taken the lead now, so well done. Great push towards the end. The double global working extremely well for them. They prepped the map already with taking down the forts, and the Falset and the Haka combo worked quite nicely for them. So, Uther gets banned as we're heading into Sky Temple as our second map. Again, this is a best of 5 series and no specific draft rule, so anything still goes here. And Team Nintorii now has to try and slowly come back into this. Sergeant Hammer just didn't really work out for them. She did a lot of damage, but at no point was it really that big threat that they wanted. I believe the one moment where I thought, alright, now it might get a bit dangerous for the red team was when the blue team had their own Garden Terrors and they were pushing at the bot lane with the Garden Terror and clearly aiming to go for keep. Blaze dying at the top lane was definitely a problem, so he was forced to go there because the two globals, Falset and the Haka, were starting to threaten the keep top side. and Blaze went there, but him dying and then not being able to join up with the rest of the team was definitely an issue. But even in that situation where you could have seen the blue team trying to go for a bit of a death push through the bot lane, it was the double global that again saved them, because they applied the pressure at the top, and the only other chance that the blue team had was to risk losing their keep at the top and try and go for core, which is at that point a bit unrealistic. So yeah, running against those two globals was a problem. And now in Sky Temple, the first thing that happens is that the Haga gets taken again. Noteworthy that the blue team decided to pick the map and not go for first pick, first ban. That allows Fancy Pants to go for the Haga again. So we'll see what exactly the blue team has up their sleeve, since it's their map choice, what their thought process is here. But if some of the globals get banned out and the Haga is again the only one, then they will already have a bit of a leg up. Now, they go for Diablo, they go Lucio. Highly likely that we're gonna get Johanna pick again for Caterpillar, I'd say. With Diablo taken by Arian and Lucio locked in. I think Johanna is most likely gonna be taken now. If not, then she will probably be banned, I would assume. So, yeah, we'll see. There's Jojo. Not really a shock. And Maiev. I've seen this draft before. This reminds me of something. It's just like, where have I seen this before? I can't put my finger on it, but like I'm not quite sure. Dehaka, Johanna, Maiev. Nothing comes to mind. No, never seen this before. Yeah, I must be mistaken. So, if they lock the entire team in, by the way, that would be kind of funny. So Sylvanas is banned. No Sylvanas in this game. But the rest is still up. If they go Falstad now, that would be kind of funny. So, what exactly is the red team going to get rid of? What are they worried about here? They could target Nano again, but Hanzo and Chromie have already both been banned. So, yeah. Still a little bit curious about the general ban pattern that they have. I can understand the Tracer ban. I went over that in detail in the first draft. But with them picking Diablo first, I would assume that going into at least the Jojo ban would be kind of nice here. Not going to completely ban Cattle out, but there's a clear difference when he plays some of his priority picks and when he doesn't get them. So that's something that a lot of other teams have done in these series, and I'm a bit surprised that they don't. Falstad gets taken, so it seems that Team YEAAABOI will have to deviate away from the draft that they used on the last map anyways. A couple of their picks stolen, so the concept, the skeleton of their previous draft is still there. The backbone of it, so to say. But what is Dino now going to go for? And are we getting Stukov from Banana Age? Is it going to be something completely different from them here? I mean, even Brightwing is still up. They go for Greymane and Rega. The Wolf Pack is in the house. And I heard they like chicken, so watch out, Falstad. Well, the birdie is going to be taken out there. Rega, Greymane. And that leaves us with the final pick for map number 2 in this best of 5 series. We have Nano. We need more damage. Sonya for a little bit of spin to win on those shrines too, of course. Could even get some more melee here, honestly. But with Nano's pick, we get Bambi. Lunara it is, and that sets us up for the second map of the series here in the losers bracket. Game number 2, Sky Temple. For me, it's still going to be Underwater Temple. Gonna come back to that in a moment. On the left side, in blue, the team that has to try and catch up here. We have Team Nintorii with Lucio, played by Nintorii himself. Ipdings on Falstad. We get Nano on Lunara. Sven is playing Sonya for a bit more spin to win. And then we have Arian on the account Eagle CEO with Diablo. And on the right side, the red team in the lead in this best of 5 with YEAAABOI on Dehaka, Chaotic on Maiev, Dino on Greymane. We got Caterpillar on Johanna, and Banana Age on Rhaegar. Yeah, at some point in the past, Blizzard actually gave the map a bit of a different tint. Honestly, after such a long time, I don't notice it all that often anymore, but it has taken on a blue tint. It was a lot brighter, and I think some people were probably complaining that it's too bright for them. But it was also representing that desert flair, and I like that a lot more. And then from one patch to the next, Blizzard all of a sudden dropped this slightly blue tint on it that makes it look a bit like it's underwater, or as if there's a thunderstorm about to break out. I mean, I'm not quite sure if you guys even remember that, but if you go, for example, onto my YouTube channel and you check out any of the videos that has been played out like a couple of years ago, and you look at matches on Sky Temple, you will definitely notice a severe difference between all of that. So yeah, it's kind of wild there. Anyways, top side, we have now a global on each team, so the side laners going up against each other on that top lane with the first objective about to pop in, or about to be announced in roughly a minute, but the camps are already up on the map, and that's the first stop for the teams as they're starting to make their way over here. Siege Giants taken at the bottom of the map. Greymane, of course, also great in that spot. Sonya with level 1 block. Got some stacks going in for Falstad already as he's starting to play that out. And it's a bit more of a civilized opening. No fights, no battles, not even over vision or anything, but they're trying to go to take a few of the structures out. Sky Temple, the games that we had so far in this tournament, Sky Temple were honestly not all that bad. I'm always a bit of a, a little bit of a killjoy, I think, when it comes to Sky Temple, because we had so many games in the European scene that were decided on a boss, no matter how the flow of the game was. It was always a Hail Mary at the boss, or the dominant team trying to take it and forcing a fight there. But in the tournament here, we had very, very different styles when it came to these Sky Temple matches. So I actually don't mind it too much here. With level 4, we're getting Blossom Spell now for Bambi. Topside wall has already been broken through a little bit. So nice damage and good move by the red team. That at least gives them the head start. So once that they start taking some of the actual temples and get those shots fired, they might even have a shot to take a fort down. Now, that's obviously going to happen in a moment now. But Diablo, hello? A little bit too deep, my friend. And he dies. Maiev moves in, gets the kill. Diablo slightly over-eager and overshoots straight into the fort. Still, some structure have been destroyed here, but Dibbles is now down and has to just respawn and make his way back into the lane as the objective is about to spawn, and I guess the red team is going to try and walk away with some shots fired from both of the temples. We have Maiev already sitting in the middle, and Greymane is now moving towards the top. So, yep, shots are slowly coming in here. And they gotta contest at least some of it. Diablo is already moving towards the top, and the Wolf duo, the pack, is now moving back slowly. Yeah, blue team takes at least some shots over. They also focus on the top lane to ensure that that fort doesn't fall. The shots in the middle are not quite that impactful yet. Global's down at the bottom of the map, so if at any point there's actual fight that breaks out on one of those shrines, they can both still move in. And the Haka might actually do that in a moment. They're trying to go for Diablo again. Diablo in trouble and dead for the second time. Level 7 kicking in also early for the red team. Blue team has by now followed. But nicely done. Diablo dying twice, currently at 48 stacks on his baseline. So definitely having some real trouble with all of this. Falstad is flying into the middle as they're attempting to go for Maiev, and Chaotic is dead. The ragdoll gets kicked around a bit as Sonya came through with a big slam. Still a minion wave in the middle that is doing some extra damage to the fort. But as the dust settles and the first temple shots are over, the situation is essentially as follows. The blue team is behind in structural damage. Both of their forts in the middle and at the top have taken severe damage, are not destroyed, but are below 50% HP. That's in and of itself not really a problem just yet, but if you pull ahead structurally, then if you exchange temple shots with the opponent and it's even trades, you will eventually win the game. So right now the blue team has a bit that they need to make up for. Again, not a lot. Might change with the next team fight already, but at least initially a small advantage for the red team that they're probably going to be pretty happy about. And it could translate, of course, also in them pulling further ahead if they're able to take the solo temple at the bottom of the map, which is going to be the next one to spawn. Blue team has other plans, though. They want to get some kills here. Dino is moving very quickly out after initially being targeted by Diablo. Now they're turning it on Sven. And might... Oh, they were close in getting that kill, but couldn't. And now it's Chaotic that gets attacked. And Chaotic goes down. Bye-bye, Maiev. Another kill for the blue team. Nicely done. Yeah, both mega close to level 10 abilities now, but that was an important one. Taking my F down there was definitely a nice little touch to it. Now they have full control over the bottom of the map where the next temple is spawning. So that's also where they should be able to get some extra shots. The level 10 abilities give us Leap. We have again Lightning Breath for Diablo. No surprises so far with ults, Bullet against Dibbles from Greymane. And yeah, what else are we gonna get now? A Blessed Shield obviously for Cattle. I'm actually a bit curious if in the third game he is still going to get his Johanna, or if they're going to switch things around a little bit and start banning her out or taking her away. I mean, both of the options totally feasible here if they want to do that. Seems like the red team can for now walk away with the shots from the bottom temple. And topside, the Haka has actually done even more damage now against that fort. So this thing has taken a serious beating, but it's not quite out yet. Caterpillar has to help out over here. Could move in, maybe even with a Blessed Shield, but nah, not just yet. We have obviously for Lucio also the high 5 that he can always use to get rid or around some of these abilities. The Haka still pushing at the top, and honestly he's gonna get that topside forward. The few shots that are still captured by the blue team at the bottom of a map hardly matter in the bigger context. And with the Haka now making the play for the first fort of the game, this looks very much like they are going to get this easy peasy. So this one's taken out. At the bottom of the map, only the wall has been touched, and that's it. So again, a small win for the red team. And it's these cumulative advantages that they're now getting that will lead to a serious gain, and potentially even a win on that second map if there's no proper fighting back from their opponents. So right now, blue team, a couple of kills would certainly serve them well. Here comes the disc. Greymane wants to go for Lucio. Dino makes the attack happen. Can't get the kill and shifts targets over to Sonya, who falls a moment later. And that's kill number 3 for the red team. So they have their third kill in. The Haka still playing the global game. So be careful with some of the minion waves that are pushing at the top, but generally he's doing a stellar job here and is keeping the team ahead in XP, and also making sure that they have a structural solid position. Yeah, as I said before, a couple of kills are definitely needed right now from the blue team. When you're looking at the raw damage numbers, we have Lunara with 27,000 right now. So Bambi is currently doing pretty okay and has top damage in the game too. But we're coming back to what I already said in the first game. It's quite nice when you have the top damage, but it only matters so much if you're not able to get kills out of it. And that's something that they definitely need to try and pull off. Dino, interrupted over here, slowly moving back. He, on 20,000, is doubling the... It's actually kind of funny. Dino has 20k and he's doubling the damage of the next two in line, which would be Johanna and Maiev. So most of the damage is really coming for him, and that's not going to change. The Haka, no problem for him. Moves away at the top. Both of the teams now with level 13. And the blue team is pausing again. Oh, this time we have actually somebody drop here. Nano didn't make it. Nano drops out of the game and apparently instantly reconnects. Okay. That was a very, very short disconnect. Apparently just a little bit of a bigger lag. We had problems yesterday. Today these mini lags aren't happening anymore, but yesterday in those matches, if you remember, there were also some mini lags on the screen. Dino had problems connecting. So some of the European players were definitely struggling with things, and maybe that also affects Nano here, but the situation seems to at least be better than it was the day before. Now as we're going for the next temples, we have a couple of bullets flying around from Greymane again, and Diablo's getting chunked low, but so far he's still alive and kicking. Maiev is taking the shots at the bottom of the map, and by now every single fort has been destroyed on the blue team side. And with Maiev taking bot lane control, they're starting to target that bottom keep, which is also the keep that the boss is of course gonna move for, if at any point they're able to grab it. Just as a little bit of a side note here. Yeah, level 15, half a level lead, no talent advantages just now. But the shots over here are still being fired. That could be the second fort that falls on the red team side. So at least they're slowly starting to bring this back a little bit. Yeah, they're getting some structures destroyed, but this is still worrisome. If at any point now the red team takes the boss, this could potentially even mark the end of the game if they can get some kills with it. So there is a certain threat level, whereas you look down at the bottom right, there is still a fort in the way. So if that boss gets claimed by Team Nintorii, it's not gonna be that big of a deal just yet for their opponents. Now, with that said, the next problem to consider is, of course, that level 16 talent that has just now dropped. With level 16 talents, and they have trouble again? Nano is still around. Did somebody else disconnect? There's a lot of pauses coming from the team, so I'm not quite sure if they still have some lag issues or maybe some ping problems. If Nano disconnected earlier or had some huge spiky lag, that might be the reason for it. But either way, Red Team is currently in position to potentially make a play for boss. There's obviously a risk attached to it, but since the opponent doesn't have level 16 yet, they could technically try and do it. Now, with level 16 talents, you have a little bit of a power spike, but the issue is more so that on the other hand, you got Falstad playing on the blue team, which means a good gust and a well-timed gust could really ruin any play you make around that boss, so it would be a risky endeavor. What they can do, on the other hand, is trying to just hide here a little bit in those bushes and, so to say, fake that they're going for the boss, and instead of just straight up making a play for it, hope that somebody falls into the trap, maybe Lunara, you know, moving a bit too close as she sends a wisp out and then can get hit by a blessed shield. So there's a couple of ways that the red team can now try and play this. But yeah, either way, I hope that whatever the problem is for the blue team, they're going to fix it soon, and then we're of course going to continue and see what the actual move from Team Fancy Pants is going to be here. Well, and as it happens, they're actually going for the boss. So they are going to try and take it. And nobody is making a play against it yet. I suppose that they know, but they're not risking fighting without 16 talents, even with Falstad and the potential cast. So that's a free boss, and now we are exactly in the situation that I've been talking about earlier. That boss is going to go for that bottom keep, and very likely it's going to fall. They've been escorting out the top lane a bit to at least force the Haka back and force him to deal with this. It's not really going to be a problem. He's going to defend this, and then he can still join the rest of the team with plenty of time to spare. So that's the bigger issue that they're currently facing here. So, I guess we'll see what exactly they're going to do with this now. But this could definitely be a bit of an annoying situation with even Siege Giants now moving in. To be fair, that boss was actually defeated very quickly as everybody moved down to the bot lane. Still a bit too early, we're only 11 minutes in. I honestly thought that it would be able to do a little bit more, but not really the case. Essentially, they did way less with that boss that I expected them to. They had Siege Giants, they had the boss, and it's just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're 11 minutes into the game, and this hasn't properly scaled yet, so it's not actually doing anything. So, yeah, a little bit unlucky, I guess. But, alright. Now, with everybody starting to, again, jump in over here, we're having the attack. Oh, nice tether. The attack against Diablo again, but... Oh, Bambi with a big damage, but the Ancestral from Rhaegar was there with plenty of time to spare. So, nicely done by him. Now, of course, on the other hand, it's Diablo that gets caught again, and he goes down. Diablo eliminated, no chance for him, and now, yeah, maybe another shrine or another temple in the hands of the team in red. And that, of course, is going to lead to that bottom keep to be destroyed after all. If the boss was not able to pull it off, then they're just going to do it the old-fashioned way and use the objective for it. That's at least what it seems like right now. That keep will be gone if they can recapture the temple, but now the blue team is pushing in as hard as they can now that Diablo is back, but he has no souls. Diablo has no souls left and dies again. Just doesn't have the proper hit point pool. I guess technically it's not correct. There's obviously always a few souls that Diablo retains. Rumor has it those are the souls of the Blizzard executives that cancelled Heroes of the Storm and HGC, and I am absolutely okay with Diablo keeping those. I mean, these people are so evil that it would be pretty weird to just let them go when you fall, so Diablo is always going to hold on to them. But yeah, he definitely didn't have that hit point pool anymore that he really wanted. So he goes down for the second time, and this time he's down for the count. Well, with 5 kills to 2 and now half a level until 20, let's just say that Team YEAAABOI is, again, very much so in control. 40,000 damage from Greymane, Only Maiev has died so far. She died twice. We have one keep destroyed, but this is getting a bit out of hand. We're coming back to the same problem. Blue team needs a team fight victory, and a big one at that. They need to gain some map control, but they have so far not really made any big plays. They're now behind by 1.5 levels. Level 20 is ready for the opponent, so even fighting here is already them accepting a big risk. The disc is out immediately, so is the Blessed Shield. Now they're trying to go for the play here. Gust gets used. Whereas the tether, lick attempt from the Haka, not successful, and the blue team is throwing everything against them. But as I said before, they got level 20 talents. So they're getting pushed behind their wall. That camp is going to be stolen. Attempt to re-engage once again by Team Nintorii. Diablo is low. He's in trouble. He's not the only one. Bambi goes down. Is now as dead as his mother, and it's 2 for Diablo 2. He falls once again. That opens the top lane up even further. They don't even have to go for that camp anymore. They can just go for that keep right away. And Team Fancy Pants is just absolutely dominant in this. They're gonna walk away with a 2-0 lead as it seems. At least if they take this keep out, they can then fall back and get the temples. They don't even have to push for core here. There's a double temple coming up in 20 seconds. And they even steal the camp away. So once that they're making their way over towards the temple, they can essentially do whatever they want here. Because double temple control will eliminate the final keep in the middle and then start firing shots at the core directly. So they have the opponent completely pinned down right now. And that's a disastrous position for Team Nintorii. They still have to wait 6 seconds until Diablo is back. They can't even contest any of this. And I mean, look at it. This keep is already getting attacked, as mentioned, and they now have to try and somehow push them back, for example, in the middle, to take some control. Greymane isn't even here. They're not even trying to fight, and why would they? They can just play around the opponent right now. The core is already getting attacked, to be fair, only by the shots from the top temple now, but that's going to be enough to at least remove the shield and a few hit points, and Greymane is now moving around them, so they have to abandon the position in the middle of the map and try and defend, because if not, Greymane is just going to simply win the game with the shots from the Haka at the top, and that's exactly what we're looking at right now. Game's over. Completely outplayed the macro performance against Stella from Team YEAAABOI, and they take, therefore, the second win in this Best of 5 series. A 2-0 lead. Or not? Well, maybe not yet. Okay, Dino finishes it. There it is. GG, and it's a 2-0 in the Best of 5. Tomb of the Spider Queen, map number 3. I'm amazed, by the way, that we didn't have any disconnects from Dino so far today in the draft. Yesterday was just absolutely crazy. If you watch the previous matches, you know what I'm talking about there. But we had to restart so many of these drafts because they just like bugged out all the time, and now things are pretty decent there. But it's a 2-0 lead for Team YEAAABOI. They looked great on both of the maps. Initially even, and then they pulled slowly ahead with every single objective on Sky Temple. They pulled a little bit ahead, just a tiny little bit. A bit more damage on structures here, a bit more damage on structures there, and then it just started to escalate. And specifically the macro play on game number 1 was, of course, very, very strong. Now that we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen, Johanna actually gets banned. So I think there's a couple of things at play here. Tracer, by the way, is left open. But I talked about Johanna and her being left open for cattle in both of the drafts already. Now we are going into game number 3, and I was already theorizing earlier that they would start banning Johanna out. But on top of that, we also have now Tomb of the Spider Queen as the map, so that adds an extra layer. Jojo just has a bigger priority on maps like Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen than she has on Sky Temple and on Garden of Terror. So this time they're not willing to let Johanna go through, and she gets banned. Uther also, by the way, gets the axe here, so does Maiev. And we'll see how Nintorii's team is now going to play this one out. And I want to see if Dino is taking the opportunity to grab Tracer. Now, Junkrat gets claimed. Hanzo obviously really good here with vision and everything, so is Junkrat. Chromie is another one with long distance that can facilitate a lot of interrupts when you're trying to turn in the gems. But currently, how do they play this? And again, they're gonna pick it if the Soul then a bit later, but is Dino going to, for example, take Tracer? With Anduin already claimed, now Genji also becomes a real option. Could even be banned out by Team Nintorii. If you're trying to go for some light bump engage with a Swift Strike, that would of course be the combo in this case. Blaze on the side lane, also strong. First time in this series that Fancy Pants actually does not play the Haka. But we have seen the Haka play on Tomb of the Spider Queen, specifically in the Captain's Clash tournament. Now, on the left side, Malfurion and Hogga. Nobody wanted to play him on Garden of Terror, but now he gets played on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Okay, he's gonna pog around a little bit. And on bans with Malf now taken. I would have still loved to see... I would have loved to have seen Medivh. But I think at this point it's fairly sure that we're not gonna get him. If anyone in Nano would have possibly played him, but Medivh could have been cool. They're going to ban out Stitches. Stitches hook into Malfurion Root, or just like the Gorge into a Root, always strong. And we've seen a decent amount of Stitches plays throughout the tournament, so it's a fair ban to get rid of him here. Is Team Nintorii now still banning out Tracer, as they done in both of the previous maps against Dino, or are they going to go for a Genji ban because they are afraid of the Genji Anduin Light Bomb combo, or something completely different? Okay, so they're worried about Tracer. She of course also can engage with Light Bomb, not quite with the same range, but still. And that begs the question immediately: Genji, yes or no? He's clearly the better brother. Hanzo is banned anyway, so that doesn't matter. But Genji has that extra coolness factor, for sure. So, Diablo for Caterpillar, and here comes Chromie. Diablo doesn't really shock. Great for the map. Also, after Jojo is banned, this is pretty much his second go-to. That's why other teams have banned both Diablo and also Johanna against Caterpillar. But with Chroma, I pointed out earlier, you have the vision now, you have the interrupt potential against turn-ins, trying to keep the opponent a little bit low and force them away from the turn-in points here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Yeah, with the front line on Nintorii's team, we get Garrosh and we got Tychus. And I'm immediately interested in the build. I talked a bit yesterday about how sometimes when we're talking NA server, we're getting this auto attack style and how it can be pretty cool if you pair that off with Garrosh, because you get easier stacks on your level 4 when you do that. Not really a massive comp that we are seeing a lot, but now that they picked the two of them, they could actually play this out if they wanted to. Now, are they going to do it? Are we going to get a standard build from Tychus? We'll see in a second. But on the red team for the final pick for game number 3, we're getting Vala, possibly again with a multi-shot build. And with that, it's time for Tomb of the Spider Queen. First match point for Team YEAAABOI. On the left in blue, we have again Team Nintorii. Iptings is playing Tychus and is already shattering dreams. Goes for quarterback here. Could technically still go in the rhythm, but it's not the all-out auto attack style that we have seen in some of the other games. Nano on Junkrat, we get Sven on Hogga, Nintorii on Malfurion, and Arian is playing Garrosh in game number 3 of this series. Over on the right side of the map, we get YEAAABOI on Blaze. Chromie, played by Chaotic, is currently going for Time Walker's Pursuit as a level 1 talent. We have the not the auto attack style, the multi-shot style for Dino's Vala as expected. Caterpillar on Diablo and Banana Age on Anduin. So yeah, multi-shot is getting more popular on certain maps. Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen definitely stand out there. And we have seen lots and lots of damage done with that if you stack, if you get good angles, if there's maps where you have a lot of choke points where multiple heroes are moving in. So Vala, right now, definitely one of the heroes that has probably the most build diversity. Can easily play an arrow build on certain maps. You can play an auto attack style, especially of course with a double support behind you. And now multi-shot is also becoming more popular and gets played a decent amount. So there's definitely a whole lot going on right now with her. We'll see if this is going to be successful here. But they're already applying some nice damage against Sven at the bottom of the map and force him to tap early. So that's great for Blaze. In the middle, still that 4-man rotation. But Vala is of course going to try to complete the quest as quickly as she can. It gives her an initial damage boost. And then you can stack way past that too, of course. And try and make your play there. All the way up at the top. now have still the rotation between the two lanes, and teams just generally trying to get a couple of gems together. A little bit of bling bling. Christmas is around the corner. You need to get a couple of diamonds here. So a little bit of jewelry for the girlfriend. So they are all just like trying to grab as much of that as they possibly can. And Blaze escapes from that little gank attempt that we just saw at the bottom of the map. So they are going for number 2, and this time, no way. He actually found the one angle that allows him to escape. Hogger dies at the top, and Blaze walks away. That was big. That was actually very big. That's gems lost for the blue team, and them not losing Blaze here is pretty huge. That's actually fantastic. Blaze has 7 gems right now, but him not dying and finding the perfect angle to get out of those 4, that was amazing. And then they kill Hogger on the other side of the map, so this is about the best case scenario for them. So nicely done. And the red team can now also start to slowly get those turn-ins going. We get Master Assassin as the level 4 talent for Tychus, so really thinking about Odin here. That passive that you get is applying to Odin too, and that's pretty huge if you can then just fire away. But top side, Vala, now with another nice multi-shot that gets a few additional shots for her fairly easily. Problem is that Diablo is low, and Caterpillar, no way he makes it too. If you're the blue team, you're just annoyed at this point. I mean, seriously. If you're the blue team, you're just annoyed. You're just sitting there as like, you gotta be joking, right? First, Blaze escapes. Now it's Diablo that just gets out, walks away from it. I mean, are you guys serious? And, well, seems like they are. 25 gems have been turned in. So they've been able to deliver some of them and safeguard them. Dino's still holding 5, needs to be a bit cautious, but the boys on the blue team, they're also falling a bit low in hit points here and give Malfurion a lot to do. And that's partly because Chromie is, from a distance, just shunning away with one attack after another. And then you have Anduin, the pull-out king, just pulling Diablo out of the fire after he is again in the middle of 4 heroes. And he is just a killjoy. Especially once that he hits his level 16 and has even 2 charges of that, it's so annoying. Whenever you think you get a kill, Andrew is like zip, and then it's just like, yeah, well, thank you. So that didn't work. So, annoying composition for the red team. Blue team definitely not happy with how the game is currently flowing. We have not seen a turn in yet, but we are soon going to have enough gems for at least Team YEAAABOI to get their full Web Weaver donation in. Yeah, and then Anduin falls. So they might... Oh, that's 10 gems. Yeah, Junkrat is dead too, but it's going to cost Garrosh's life as well. So Garrosh is eventually going to fall here. He's not going to make it out. That's another 10 gems that they're now missing out on. Junkrat was destroyed, and it costs them a lot. And now Malfurion is gone. So the only gems that they're still holding are on good old Tychus. That's 4 kills to 1. We have a 1 level advantage as well for the red team. And of course an open corridor to now try and get that turn in and get your first objective, the first Web Weaver wave. Quest is also completed for Vala. She's going to stack past it now, but she gets that initial damage boost at that point. So things are again looking up for Team YEAAABOI. And this is match point. This is match point. If they win it here, they make it into the grand final, which, as I said, is a best of 7. Now, the team that comes from the winner's bracket, Team Cure, is going to get a 1-0 lead as a winner bracket advantage, but still, just making that run through the lower bracket straight into the grand final would be an amazing feat. If you can also do that with a 3-0 in the loser's bracket final, that would be massive, and they are working on that. They're trying to get the kill on Nano, and that would be... No! They actually get it! That would be a total disaster, and it is a disaster! That is one of your biggest tools to defend against the Web Weavers, and they just lost it. He's not going to be there for the initial defense, and that makes these Web Weavers so much more annoying right now. Really big problem at this point for the blue team. Level 10 that was just added for Team YEAAABOI makes matters worse. So it is a dire situation for the blue team. They are going to suffer a lot here. They have to be so careful with this. If they lose more heroes to the level 10 abilities on the other side, then it would just be an utter nightmare. Push at the top is still happening. The walls are, of course, slowly and systematically getting destroyed here. The middle has already suffered. Even the fort has taken damage. Now they're continuing the same play at the top. Not pushing directly to destroy a fort here. But to be fair, it's also not like they're running Sylvanas, for example, here. But they are pulling farther and farther ahead on this. 5 kills to 1. More than a level lead. Blue team is about to get their own level 10. And they need at least a turn in. They have the gems, though. It's always a ticket back into the game if you can get a couple of gems here. Can maintain them, don't lose them, and then turn them in later. So this is what they're currently working on. And with level 10, they should also hurry before the opponent is getting closer to getting level 13. Chromie, look at that! Chaotic is gonna die, isn't he? Yeah. So he's actually dying. But for a second it looked again like he might able to weasel his way out of that little trap that they set for him. But Chromie is... they are able to take Chromie out. She's not able to get out of harm's way completely. The fight is still on a bit, but a nice flip straight into the root. And Blaze gets saved by Anduin. Didn't I say he's annoying? I mean, Anduin is just like sitting there and ruins another potential kill for them. So, yeah, that's kind of brutal. Diablo gets ping-ponged around, so they're hoping for another kill here. Might even get that. Yeah, so Diablo is able to get out again. Good for him. No real problem for him just yet, but the blue team is now summoning their web weavers. This is the moment where you can't lose a hero. If you kill one though, yeah, Diablo! There he goes. Caterpillar is gone. That's big. Finally. That's exactly what we need to see from Team Nintorii if they want to try and make a comeback in this best of 5 series. So if you're planning on the reverse sweep, that's definitely the first step. Get your web weavers, put them on the ground, get the objective, and then just start killing a few heroes to make the defense a bit weaker. Now Diablo obviously sacrificed his souls and is now slowly back to business, but this is still a pretty important move to make him a lot weaker and make sure that he can't bully you all that much up at the front. 42 stacks now, or 42 on Vala. So she's been definitely farming this quite a lot and is continuing. Oh, but Nainu gets nearly murdered here. Gets the heal from Anduin, but that was clutch there for just a second. Dino got nearly a one-shot more or less. So they have to be careful with him. Looking at the damage numbers, we have Vala with a very solid lead in the top spot. She has 36,000 damage. Nobody really comes close here. Tigers is 8,000 behind, which this early in the game is quite a lot. Here's the turn in now of the 40 gems that Fancy Pants has been holding the entire time. He's probably going to be pretty happy to get rid of those. Even applying a bit of pressure against Nano. Turn-in attempt, of course, also by the blue team, who's working the top turn-in spot now. Both on level 13. Not quite enough gems yet, by the way, for the red team to get their full turn in. They just now got the final gem, but they still have to deliver. And they're going to try here. The interrupt is not happening. Dino is able to deliver everything that he had there. And that means they're only 4 gems short of getting another web weaver wave. But the blue team is also not too far behind. So they're delivering everything that they can. Boss has been completely uncontested by either one of the team. Nobody has made a move for it. Has been on the map for quite some time now. But then again, nobody had a huge teamfight victory where they all of a sudden found themselves in such a numeric advantage that they could easily go for boss play. Bunker forced at the bottom of the map. Fight in the middle is still continuing though. Malfurion is in trouble. Dino is definitely going to get that kill, isn't he? And no, he's not! They are isolating the rest of the team from their support though. Junkrat is gone. Anduin falls. So the support is dead. Now we have Hogger coming in. Dino low. Tries to still get a kill here. It's Tigers that falls first though. And they go for Blaze again and drop him too. Everybody is dead or dying down here. They're turning Tomb of the Spider Queen into a graveyard. 7 kills to 5 now. Dino on the way back out. 52 stacks for him currently. And the potential, not the potential to get the web weavers. He can turn in 3 gems, but that's not going to be enough no matter what they're doing here. Diablo might find himself in trouble again though. But Chromie is also still alive and she is providing a bit of backup as the red team turned in. So Dino grabbed himself a few more gems, turned in the rest. So now they have their own web weavers coming around. 52 stacks by the way for Dino on his level 1. So that's a decent amount of damage here. I mean, right now you have an extra 100 that you get with every single multi-shot attack that you throw out there. This will definitely increase as the game continues. Another good hit, increasing it up to 55. So Vala is going to make a huge dent, not only on those minion waves, but also in the team fights from here on out. Definitely gonna start crushing it here. I'm talking about crushing it. They're now trying to crush the fort in the middle and take that out. It's gonna be the first one on the list here. Bottom fort will be destroyed too. And up at the top, Blaze is trying to empower this. But the defense is there as well. Currently they're defending well. Fort at the bottom has been destroyed. Top, as I said, is suffering. But Hogger is currently dealing with it. They might still lose it here. The real team fight in the middle of the map though. The jet propulsion connects. Immediate countdown Blaze though. And he dies before he can use the bunker. 16 talents on both sides now. It's a very, very even game. We finally have some actual proper plays and action and good team fights from the blue team. Some of that has definitely been missing in the previous games. But is it too little too late? Can they bring this back? They're suffering more structural losses at the bottom of the map. Both of the towers are down. And the gate gets destroyed. Nano is ensuring that the keep does not take any damage. But with that said and done, there's another potential play for Caterpillar. Can they get the kill here? Cattle dead again. Diablo not so terrifying here. Losing the few gems that he's been holding too. So that makes matters worse. It's about to go straight in for the next camp here. And now they're going for the boss, by the way. So up at the top side, they're starting to make a play for boss. Blue team is currently not contesting this. Instead, we have Vala all alone at the bottom of the map. And she might have to deal with the web weavers here. I was hoping to escort this over. Even the keep is taking a bit of damage. Not a whole lot because the web weaver just spawned. Vala is now hearthing back, but still, that web weaver is not going to do a lot of damage to that bot lane. It's going to get stopped by one wave after another. In the middle, they're also taking the web weaver down with ease. Top side, at least, is going to result in the fort being murdered. Now, this is obviously a double whammy that the blue team has coordinated because now they can push with boss and their spiders. But they also have Odin, so they are hoping to get a keep out of this. Hogger is slowly starting to join the team topside. Currently they're still fighting with 4. But Vala is getting a lot of damage out too. She's at 74 stacks now. So Vala is really stacking this one up, but they need some single target damage to deal with that boss, and they're trying to burn it down quickly. The web weaver is still there too. Well, it was a second ago at least. But the keep is likely to still fall, or they barely save it. I mean, it's gonna be close. Nice pull from Anduin. He has the double pull available now, and the keep is still standing. They actually hold on to the keep for now. Dino with nearly 80 stacks, so he's around 175 extra damage with every single multi-shot that he drops out now. Which has his damage at 70,000. Heavily ahead of everyone else in the game right now. The web weaver at the bottom of the map, by the way, came through for the blue team, so they took 2 of the forts out. They are ahead in structures now all of a sudden. They had already, I mean, it's the same amount of web weavers from both teams, but Team Nintorii just did better. It's just a matter of fact. They did better with their turn-ins. They did a lot of structural damage. They had a boss, of course, too, but this worked very well for them. They are now in a situation where they have eliminated all the forts except for 1. And they're getting another web weaver wave. So they're setting the next one up. That's the 3rd one for them. It's just hit after hit now against Team YEAAABOI. We're actually seeing exactly what we talked about earlier. That aggression, that continuous pressure. They're trying to take the keep out, or sorry, the fort out in the middle. And of course, in an ideal world, you also want to eliminate a couple of keeps here. Maybe here they can already get one. We're not quite there yet, but we'll see. Fight is already raging on. Who gets the first few kills? Strafe again from Vala. Gets stopped. Hogger is down. Vala gets saved, but Diablo dies again. Diablo is just a punching bag at this point. He already died 3 times here. Diablo died 3 times. So did Junkrat, by the way. Web Weavers are being eliminated. So is the keep at the top. They couldn't save it. I think they already assumed this from the start that it would fall. Vala is now coming in and trying to deal with that. And damn, like her multi-shots are doing work. Blaze is still top damage on the red team when it comes to just siege damage alone. But Vala is really starting to catch up here. She's at 100,000 now. She's of course been the one focusing more on the hero damage than anything else. But this is still some impressive number that she currently brings in. And she hasn't died yet. The only hero in the entire game that has not died yet. Dino hasn't fallen once. Both teams now with level 20, they're still dead even, by the way, when it comes to levels, when it comes to kills. So now we have level 20 talents on both sides. With Manticore, that gives us the Firefly Quiver synergy that they have. So specifically the front line is going to be in more trouble. Talking mostly Garrosh here, who they're going to try and keep at bay as best as they can. And on top of that, Odin, we now have the big red button for Tigers, which is going to be huge for them. So this is going down to the wire. Match point number 1, and the blue team is fighting tooth and nail to make sure that they have another chance to get through this series. They're doing whatever they can right now to somehow play through this, win this game, force map number 4 at least, and slowly get that reverse sweep done. They're doing whatever they can here. 80 stacks now, 82 for Vala. Getting Strafe out, zoning them. And they want the next turn in too. They're 1 turn in down now. They want to get some Web Weavers. Dino, 17 gems delivered. They're 8 short. 8 gems, and then they're gonna have a chance to utilize Web Weavers themselves. And at least take those 2 forts out that are still standing on the blue team side. Both of them are low, but both of them have not been destroyed. Talking about destroying things, Diablo gets caught again and nearly gets destroyed here. Not quite happening. Riptire out, new positioning rank. Chromie also, with just non-stop poke. I mean, the entire time, Chromie is just coming in there. Malfurion already with Tranquility used, so a lot of ults have been utilized throughout the last fight. And now we get the Web Weavers for the red team. Those catapults at the top are kind of shutting those out. But what they mostly want is, of course, take at least the forts out. And again, Caterpillar. Time and time again, he's the one that they're targeting. Had to Hellgate out to ensure that he doesn't fall here. Dino targeted by Odin. Yeah, big red button hitting hard. 7 stacks, by the way, of Master Assassin. And they have to do some damage now. The fort in the middle is finally gone. Topside fort will be destroyed by this. And down at the bottom of the map, the keep is going to take some damage. But how does the red team now react? They're still pushing in the middle. They're still going through the mid lane. Might actually start to collectively go down to the bottom of the map. And yes, that's exactly what we're seeing. Topside fort is about to get destroyed here. But they're slowly starting to make a move on this. Yep, slowly and steadily, but it's just again not enough. They are not getting a ton out of these pushes. There's still 1 keep down. They have taken the forts apart. That's good. So catapult pressure is to an extent at least mitigated. But when you just compare the 2 teams and think about what they actually accomplished every single time that they got an objective, you just have to acknowledge that the blue team has done way better. They had some additional tools that they could use to siege up Odin, for example, but also the boss that they coordinated at one point. But it's still a matter of fact that they're getting more out of these. Now the chance, though, they go for the kill, and that is Garrosh gone. Yep, Manticore, Farflight Quiver. On top of that, also, of course, Strafe and the 94 stacks by now on multi-shot. And Garrosh dies. Now they can go for the boss, and this is where things are starting to get a bit ugly. Oh boy, maybe all the work that was done by Team Nintorii has been in vain after all. Maybe they're not able to make it here. Boss at the top is claimed. They take the boss, and now the opportunity to potentially, I mean, take a keep, end the game. Depends on how much they can do. If they get a few more kills, there's definitely a chance that they're going to attempt to win this entire thing. If Vala makes it to 100 stacks, that would mean that she gets 200 extra damage with every single wave that she shoots out, with every single multi-shot. So the topside keep is definitely going to get destroyed. Absolutely no way of saving that here. No chance. The only question is really, can they get more? That's the big question here. And they are going to try. I mean, it's a 5 versus 5 right now, so they're going to linger around a little bit and see if they have a shot. It's not quite certain yet, but yeah, they realize that it's not going to happen immediately, so they just fall back, play it safe, which is probably the smarter choice here. Then again, the fort in the middle is now also going to get attacked, so gotta be careful with that. Vala, a few more shots. Yeah, Dino's just stacking his damage right now. He's just padding the stats at this point. He's sitting at 100,000 damage, so he has gone into the 6-digit club. Definitely nice damage numbers. And is still the only one that hasn't died yet. But of course, you want to have a bit more than that. Yep. I mean, currently what we're getting from them is basically just everyone trying to work on the next turn in. Little bit, I mean, they have essentially the same gems, honestly. Same gem count at the end of the day between the two of them. And now just the question, who gets the next kill, who gets the next turn in. Both teams have, by the way, lost the top side keep. So there's absolute equilibrium when it comes to pressure through catapults that they now have. And Blaze is already delivering. So he's able to turn in here. And there's still a couple of siege giants at the bottom of the map that they can now try and get. Which they're currently working on. A bit of a push already happening through the middle too. Vala again working on her level 1. For a moment earlier I actually thought that there's maybe even a chance that we're gonna get a good old Tigers to complete his quest, but I don't think that's really in the cards anymore. So I don't think that's happening. Yeah, more barbecue plays. There we go. And can they do anything with it? Not so much. Maybe. Blaze had to bunker up. Malfurion had to use Tranquility. So nobody was able to do a whole lot with that. Nobody was able to go and get a kill. A lot of ults being exchanged, but maybe with the second attempt and push for it, they can do a bit more here. So far, they're all still looking to see if anyone is going to be out of position here that they can punish. It's not happening just yet. We still have the siege giants at the bottom of the map that need to be dealt with. Much better position, by the way, now for a successful turn-in from the team in red. They're only 4 gems short of making that work, so they kept the opponent away. Oh, that Junkrat Garrosh play, on the other hand, was pretty sexy, and it's the end of Diablo. Nicely done. Junkrat, first of all, with the first placement, and then Garrosh follows it up right away. They're ping-ponging it around. Now Anduin is down. Oh boy, that could be the move. This could have been the play. The turn-in for the red team has happened, by the way. So they got their turn-in, but they lost 2. Diablo is back, Anduin isn't. How much further can they now go with this? Their turn-in is likely not going to do anything. I mean, honestly, that turn-in was maybe their saving grace here, because if not for that, there's actually a chance that the blue team would have tried to, first of all, get their own turn-in, but also maybe even go for another keep, go for the core, whatever it may be. 10 kills to 9 at this point. YEAAABOI at the bottom, top, 20 seconds for Anduin, and Team YEAAABOI, they can't go too deep, and they know it. You can already see them hesitating there. They're just letting the defense do their thing. But, yeah, not a lot happening for now. We have everybody still escaping. They're trying to buy, of course, a little bit of time so that the YEAAABOI get at least a shot of doing damage. We see that at the bottom of the map as they're now coming in to try and take that keep apart. Now, it's not going to... Well, actually, it might fall. We're 25 minutes into the game, so this keep is actually taking tons of damage. Way more than I thought. Core is also getting attacked. Even catapults are now chipping in. And these are, of course, hitting hard right now. So, yeah, all of that currently playing out here. Middle of the map. Okay. Not too much going on here just yet. They are just moving up to the top in an attempt to sneak the boss in. I don't think that's going to be allowed. That would be wild if they somehow can sneak that boss. And instead, it's Diablo that died. How many times has Cattle died now? 5 times. It feels like more, right? You can't tell me that you didn't look at Diablo dying and you thought, my god, he must be at 7 deaths or so. But nope, 5 it is. 11 kills to 9. Blue team is getting a bit more. But, yeah. Vala, 122,000. Look at Tigers, 114,000.
Everybody is dancing around the boss now because with the numbers advantage, the blue team now has figured out that they might be able to grab this. And they think they have to. Junkrat gets stunned out though. Drops really low. Here's the bunker. Junkrat is trying to retreat and now Blaze is caught. Blaze is caught, but what about Garrosh? Blaze should fall eventually. But they need to get a counter kill here. Blaze? No way. He actually makes it at least for now. But he's gonna die, right? There's no way he escapes this. He's now completely pinned down. And the red team is gonna get Diablo back. Blaze He's just wasting their time here. But of course they're going to grab it. The second that Diablo is back on the map, Blaze is gone. Bad news for Blaze. Bad news for the red team. I mean, at least they're only 4v5. All they gotta do is slow down the blue team as they're trying to go for the boss. But they could go for a turn-in. If they get boss plus turn-in though, the game's just over right there. Diablo gets attacked again. Hellgate's out. Chromie! No, she times out and will fall. They get a stun, but Chromie is gone. There's a stray from Dainu. 120 stacks now on him. So much damage. But I think this is gonna be the end. I mean, Nintorii's team has things lined up now. They get the turn in. Now they go for the boss. And this has to be it, right? That top lane pressure is going to be brutal. They're still trying to fight with 3 against 5, because they realize once this boss is taken, it's just going to kill the core. There's no... Again, this is like the only play here. Odin gets used. Dino is getting one shot off after another. He's sitting at 150,000 damage. Diablo goes in. They're just YOLOing here. They know that it's hopeless, but they gotta do something. So Diablo is down. And the Web Weavers are already on their way. Bot lane is soon gonna lose another keep. Nobody is even trying to do anything about it. Dino is getting one big hit in after another. But it just doesn't matter. They kill Anduin. The boss is already taken. And this is just... Again, it's just window dressing here. Trying to pad the stats a little bit, but it's obviously over. Tychus completes his quest. Tychus actually completes the quest. And Dino still doesn't die. He still doesn't die. Dino is still alive, but the game is certainly over. Dino at 164,000 damage. The man is just padding his stacks at this point. So, yeah, good for him. Game's over though. First point on the board for Team Nintorii as they try for a reverse sweep. GG.
Game number 4. So, Team Nintorii is back in the series, trying for that reverse sweep after going 0-2 initially, and now we have Infernal Shrines as the next map. Okay, things got interesting. Dino did not die, had 160,000 damage. Tychus was also pretty respectable. If not for Dino's performance with Vala in the last game, Tychus would have absolutely stood out as a crazy damage dealer, but he just paled in comparison, so bad luck for him. This time we have another ban on Jojo, so yeah, they're starting to follow the exact same ban pattern that we have seen with other teams. They are targeting some of the heroes that Cattle plays. And Cattle, even on Diablo, was bullied around quite a lot. He struggled with Garrosh and with Junkrat. One of the reasons why Garrosh is now getting banned, because they just said like, yeah, we need to make sure that we're going to keep our front line alive a little bit through this. So how about we're just going to make sure that Garrosh is not part of the equation. Now, are they targeting Dino again with the next ban? On Infernal Shrines, there's a lot that you could definitely get rid of. And they ban Hanzo. They've been banning Hanzo consistently here. But this is another map where Vala would work with an auto attack if you're going for a double support, but also, of course, with another multi-shot build if you feel that that's the way to go. I think we're going to get our side laner first, so either Dehaka or Blaze, I suppose. That's at least what they've been doing in all of the previous games. They always picked Fancy Pants Hero before they did anything else. Oh, well, maybe this time they're going to change the pattern. Yep, they go for Junkrat. Chaotic gets Junkrat. That's still my for me, this is like the perfect match. He played Junkrat before on, I believe it was Tomb of the Spider Queen in one of the series yesterday. And it's the perfect name for Junkrat.
So if you have a player that plays Junkrat, it should always be Chaotic. Because that just encapsulates everything around Junkrat. So yeah, absolutely love that combo. Now, for the blue team. Alright, here comes Diablo, and they go for Chromie. So you already see a little bit of a pattern here. First of all, we now have Nano for the first time with Chromie. We've been highlighting a lot of his Hanzo, a lot of his Chromie, obviously a lot of other heroes that he played here, but again, his Chromie also very strong, oftentimes banned against him. But now with Jojo banned and Diablo not immediately taken, what happens from Team Nintorii is that they take Diablo too. Now there's actually two reasons for that. First of all, Arian has been playing a lot of Diablo for the team here today, so he clearly has an affinity for the pick and wants to have it. But also they take it at the same time away from Caterpillar, who now has to deviate again a bit. And can still go Murden, can still go, if they want to engage Nubarak, given what they have, a bit unlikely. But yeah, there's plenty of tanks around. Just saying that Cattle is definitely now has been robbed of a few of the ones that he normally wants to play. Now they didn't pick the side laner as their first pick, the red team. But now they get the Haka again, Fancy Pants. So once again, Globals on the map here. But they're still thinking that Diablo might actually be taken. Sorry, that Nubarak might be taken. So a noob gets banned out, but very much so starting to target Cattle more and more. If anything, I would honestly say that having him on a Nubarak might have been interesting. Cattle had a bit of a survivability issue in a lot of the games previously, and a Nubarak is not really known to be the most tanky tank. He's normally like an engaged tank where you don't want to just play a prolonged battle. You're the one that dives in and does his job, but you're not trying to exchange blows with the opponent. So, as is, Hogger gets banned. No ping-ponging around the shrine. Sven played in one of the previous games Sonya. If they really want to go for some spin to win, they still have a chance to do that with her. But at least Hogger is out of the question. With Blaze still open, they go for Blaze though. I mean, normally what you see on this map is the Haga, Blaze, or Leoric. Those are your typical 3 side laners. Then you have still Urel, you have Hogger. So, yeah, those were, I guess, at the end of the day, still the options for them. Brightwing for heals, and that leaves us with our final 2 picks. So, the question that obviously needs to be answered, what is Dino going to play? Are we going to get another Vala performance from him? Is now that Tracer is open, that's an option for him, and they leave the shrine up to Junkrat. They go for the double global again, and they go for Stitches. So now they have a few more tools. First of all, they can play the macro game again, which won them maps before in this series, but they also can go for Gorge and Gust to get isolation kills whenever Stitches hits a proper hook. So, several tools that they can now execute here to not only win team fights, but also just play around the opponents. Now, Iptings, that's our final pick. Team Nintorii has done a great job putting a point onto the board. Now they have to try and force game number 5. Their final choice is Genji. And with that, we're jumping straight into Infernal Shrines. Game number 4. Match point number 2 for Team YEAAABOI. The second match point in the series. So, is it going to end on Infernal Shrines, or are we going the distance in this match? We have Iptings on Genji for the blue team. Sven is playing Blaze. Nano on Chromie. We have Arian on Diablo, and Nintorii, the captain, with Brightwing. On the right side of the map, their opponents, Team YEAAABOI with the Haka, played again by the captain of the team. Chaotic is playing Junkrat. We have Banana H on Lucio, Caterpillar with Stitches, and Dino with Falstad. So they play the double global once more, and they have also the combo play between Stitches, Gorge, and an isolation through a Gust from Falstad that they could use. There are quite a lot of tools for them to A, get kills, B, also control the macro game. And quick reminder that with that Falstad and the Haka comp, they already won themselves multiple maps in this series. So they are trying to just go back to what worked for them earlier. And again, why not? Right now, a little bit of a skirmish in the middle. Nobody dying, no problem here. Chaotic with the money pick riding back down to the bottom of the map, and the side laner gets interrupted. Okay, the Haka gets caught. Now that rotation was a little bit too Captain Obvious, so they caught him very quickly and took him out. Unfortunate, but yep, well played. Not really an uncommon trap. Didn't want to go for the safe path, so that's a quick kill. The Haka is still going to be fine. At the top, they're now having Banana H and YEAAABOI dealing with the situation here. YEAAABOI is still playing around here. We have at the bottom the first camp already taken, so they might even get another one. Oh, ho. That was nearly a kill. Holy hell, my friend. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Nano's Chromie is kind of infamous. Already this early in the game, with a well-placed combo, he is about to destroy Junkrat, so job well done. Nano, from the get-go, putting fear into the hearts of the opponent. Then at the same time, we have with the Globals potentially making some plays, also tools that can be used by them to try and turn things. And talking about it, Sven in the middle, also barely just getting away here. And level 4 talents, we're now getting the Vile Cleaver for Stitches. Definitely gonna have our eye a bit on him and see how Cattle is going to do throughout the game. Down at the bottom now, Chaotic, Banana Age. I mean, everybody is at the end of the day still sitting tight in an attempt to get the next camp, right? So you have 3 camps at the bottom of the map. Left, right are normally taken by one by each team, and then it's the battle for the neutral one towards the bot lane. Sometimes the pattern breaks a little bit and a team sees an opportunity to take the middle first. Dino now with the shield and the hits as they're preparing for the first objective, which is spawning topside. So they're trying to get their own shaman camp in. Same is of course happening on the blue team side too, as Iptings is getting some help from good old Blaze, and they're taking theirs. Brightwing with a bit more push at the bottom. It's all about level 7 talents. You want to try and get that talent as the objective spawns in, so that you can properly play around that. Yeah, and as the first one spawns, we're fighting for an Arcane Punisher. Now, here's the chance, and at least at the beginning, we have a significant lead for Team YEAAABOI. YEAAABOI is still at the bottom of the map. Fawcett is already saying hello over here. And they've taken 13 stacks to 6. Blue team is trying to push into the position and take it. Jet Propulsion against Stitches. The big boy still fine so far, but damn, he's getting bullied around. Now fully surrounded too. And with that little play from Diablo, it puts an end to Stitches, and that's the first kill in the fight and the second for the blue team. So looks like they are gonna get the first Punisher here. Poor Stitches just got bullied hard. I mean, Diablo always has been the OG bully, pushing people around all day, every day, especially, of course, around shrines. But that was a pretty neat one right there. Full body block push after they got him in there, too. So that put an end to all the shenanigans that the red team had planned for it. And now, Team Nintorii with opportunities at the top lane. Guys, again, this could go to game number 5. There's a chance that we're gonna go the distance. Good hook to... well, no. Good hook to try and take down Genji, but they weren't able to secure the kill. It got close, though. They got the camp, on the other hand. Bait at the top has already happened. Doesn't really seem like too much is happening here. Fawcett is flying in. YEAAABOI's already there. They want the kill, and they get it. Yeah, that double global play that they're continuously executing is really doing it for Team YEAAABOI. You gotta give them that. Their coordination around these plays is big. But now Falstad gets caught, so the flank that came in, a bit too strong for them to handle. Genji, careful. 4 versus 4 at the top, and... no way! Blaze goes down, and there it is. Blaze goes down, and so does Genji. So, they get their kills after all, but definitely some clutch plays here. I mean, look at Genji. He nearly made it out. Him trying to get away here was so close to saving him. But then they lose Blaze, and the chase is successful too. So they're losing 2 of their heroes, and now it's 3 kills to 3. So they were able to fully equalize the kill count. A couple of blind hooks that are coming in from Cattle. Not successful just yet. But the forward at the top has taken damage. I really like the way that Team Fancy Pants, Team YEAAABOI is playing around their globals, though. I mean, they're doing a great job with that. The global play that they've been showcasing time and time again is pretty stellar. They have good coordination to jump onto the same lane, try and make a quick play, trying to get an easy kill in, create a numbers advantage, and then exploiting it. So I like that a bit. Now, we have Gorge, and we have now also Gust. So this is actually where things are starting to get a little bit interesting on ults alone. So Mighty Gust and Gorge are available to isolate targets if they can grab them. Cattle, of course, has to properly hit a hook and have forced it around before anything of this can go on. But this is definitely what they're going to be watching out for from here on out. To try and make exactly that play and see how far they can get after they lock in a kill. I mean, in an ideal world, you want to grab all of that around an objective, of course. So we'll see if they are lucky enough to make that work. Currently, everybody is playing a little bit more cautious. Especially after level 10 abilities have hit, everybody is just playing it a bit tighter here. Oh, Blaze! Wow, him missing the jet propulsion here, huge problem. Put himself into a very awkward spot. There's Gorge even without a hook, and now they can go for the kill here. Rip tires in, Sven doesn't stand a chance. They didn't need Falset for that, who's still down at the bottom of the map. Another lick against Diablo is also putting him in trouble. That hook, that one should honestly have connected. But they got a kill. They got one kill. Again, for Sven, pretty unlucky that initially the jet propulsion he missed out on it, and now the double global play again. So here's the timeout. They're still gonna try and take Chromie out. They barely missed that kill. But it comes back to the same statement. Their performance with the Haka Falstad is great. This time it didn't quite result in a kill, but it was damn close. And it made life a lot more difficult for Nano, for sure. So this is the kind of play that they're going to try. And again, once that the forts are gone, for example, the two globals have also way more space to control these side lanes. So quick hook. Gorge wasn't ready yet. A second later would have been alright if they wanted to use it. The Haka hasn't joined them yet. They are level ahead right now. They want level 13. I'm not sure if they can get it in time. It's not quite there yet for them. Diablo at the front. Gets hooked. Okay. Jet propulsion. Again, the focus shifts onto Cattle with Stitches. And the Haka in the back with the isolation against Chromie, but has to move away from Diablo as he comes in. And here's the hook Gorge. Diablo came in with his ult and forced them back, but that's a dead Blaze. They are giving up the Punisher though. They get the kill, but they give up the Punisher. It's a frozen Punisher, and they decided that the kill on Blaze would be enough for them. But that also means that they now have to deal with the objective of the opponent. This one, again, isn't really doing anything. They don't even have to bait it over the wall here. They can just deal with it right where it is. And since it's a frozen Punisher, also not really that big of a deal. But right now we have Nintorii in the middle, still aiming for a few more experience points. Has to also make sure that he doesn't get hit by a hook, even though Gorge isn't ready. Hello? Cattle and Nintorii just playing that out. He doesn't have a hook anyway, so it doesn't matter too much, but these two are at least having fun. Topside fort suffered a few more hit point losses. And the fort at the bottom of the map has of course also taken damage. So that is the bad news for them. But the little play here with Stitches and with Brightwing for a moment. 13 for both teams now. The lead in experience is increasing though. This is the glory of having two globals around. I mean, just look at the XP overall. The minion experience is heavily ahead for the red team. 4,000 ahead. Now, they're also leading in mercenary and hero experience, so it's not only that they're controlling the lanes better, but it's definitely a big part of it. So, great job by them, and yeah, right now things are looking pretty okay for Team YEAAABOI. Not too much has been accomplished yet, but it's the same pattern that we discussed on Sky Temple. They take these small leads continuously, and that just helps you time and time again to build on your lead and then to get massively ahead, for example, with the level 16 talent as the next objective comes in. If they can make that work, that would help them to potentially win an objective, to then build on this with taking a few more structures out. Taking the structures out gives more space for your globals to get proper value. So all of this is currently playing together for them, even though we only have 8 kills in total at the 11-minute mark. And the blue team is also playing this already way more cautious. They can read an experience board or level board as well. We have level 60 now any second, so they are not really keen on fighting in any of these situations. And this is going to be a problem with the next objective spawning. Over here, yeah, still fine for the Haka, so he's not going to go down here. Couple of blind hooks, checking the vents, but nothing that they can accomplish with it. And partly this is because the blue team is playing very cautiously now. They are very far back here, and they're allowing the red team to take a lot of the map. Level 16 is now ready. That gives us, amongst other things, also Pulverize, which is of course a huge deal in team fights too. Just having that extra CC, specifically when somebody is trying to escape from the fight and tries to walk away there, can be massive. And actually, now that we have the objective announced, the blue team is going to get their talent. I have to admit, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought there would be a more severe gap around the objective. I slightly mistimed that in my head. But they're gonna have 16 talents, so good for Team Nintorii. Yeah, they're gonna have 16 versus 16 talent fights up at the top. I suppose that the red team is not gonna be too happy with that. They were probably hoping too that they would be able to grab themselves an advantage around the objective. We have 15,000 damage for Junkrat. And they're chasing Chromie with everything that they have, and they're gonna get her. Chromie is gonna fall. Yeah, they're gonna get her eventually if they really want her. Yep. Well, maybe not. Alright, so they pushed in with a lot. They didn't get Chromie. In the meantime, the camp at the top right was stolen away by the blue team. They could have focused their attention on the fort, but they wanted to get that kill, so they have an easier time on the objective too, which they're now also not going to get. Falls that has to deal with the double camp at the top. So this backfired spectacularly. They are at least able to take that fort out. That's, or at least nearly take it out. It's a lot of damage that they just pushed in. They have to fall back eventually. But it's still a bit of a funny situation, to be honest with you. The kill on Chromie would have been nice, but they couldn't get that. Taking the fort out would have been also great for potential trade. That didn't happen either. So, more than a bit annoying. From their perspective, at least. Fantastic for Team Nintorii. They like that a lot. They have everything that they want right now. The top side fort being destroyed is, of course, a bonus as well. Because it just basically means that they can try and go push for the keep directly. We're not there yet, though. We're still hoping to poke here. Punisher's now up at the top. And again, there's only the keep still standing. That's the only thing that they have. But Caterpillar now here in the middle. In comes Blaze, no jet propulsion. Their hooks, not really a lot of connects on those hooks here. Caterpillar, I haven't seen yet a single hook Gorge Gust. That comp has not worked out once for them yet. So, bit of a problem. Falstad and the Haka are both defending at the top. Falstad is already shifting his focus towards the middle and is leaving the Haka alone there. Brightwing, by the way, look at that. With all that power, the magic fruit fly trying to take down the bottom fort. Oh, the trap! Brightwing! You gotta be joking. Really? Brightwing gets away? No! There's the Gorge, by the way, on Blaze. Yeah, another hook. There's the tongue, and it's the trading kills. Yeah, Blaze goes down. Oh, and Brightwing finally falls. Alright, so they're trading in 2-4-1. It's finally there's a little bit of luck on the side of the red team. They certainly had a few tough moments, but now it's 7 kills to 4. They're still a level ahead and half a level away from level 20. So, yeah, they're slowly getting to a point where they can gain some momentum. But damn, even when that Gorge came through and I saw that the Stitches was dropping low, I was like, well, maybe if they don't get the kill against Blaze and the Stitches falls, then they're gonna be in an even worse spot than before. But no, this time it worked out a little bit better for them. They at least took the fort down at the bottom of the map. And they now have their level 20. I'm doubting that they're gonna get too much out of that advantage though. They have Storm talents, but if this game has shown us, they haven't really had any... Every single time they had a talent advantage, essentially, they haven't capitalized on it fully, I want to say. They're playing a lot around the objective. It's a 1-level lead that they currently hold. So, sieging up, let's say, at the middle fort would be kind of nice for them. Can try and get a hood connect with Stitches, but just try and take a few more structures out. Being in the middle, being at the bottom, it doesn't really matter too much. But you should attempt to exploit that level 20. Stealing the camp away, also another good move, if they go for that. And yeah, that's what they're gonna do. Steal the camp away, and then most likely use the camp to move towards the top and take that fort out. That's at least, that would be a reasonable play. Still busy in the middle here a little bit too. But as you can already see, the blue team is getting closer and closer to level 20. And what is what has the red team done with a level 20 advantage? Right now, not a lot. Stolen one camp. They can now, at least from a distance, get some work done here. That would be nice. Where's Gorge? There it is. Gust gets used against Diablo. And now they just have to... yeah, that's exactly how you play that. That's exactly how you make that play. This is the combo that we've been talking about ever since the draft. So here's the kill on Blaze. The hook, slow him down, get Gorge in, Gust gets used to get Diablo away from them, and then they just murder Blaze. Didn't even have a chance to go for his bunker there. So that's now a numbers advantage. Both teams are on level 20, and the objective is popping up now. So right now we have the objective come up on the map, and it's going to be a pretty significant, well, it should actually be a free one. If not, it's going to be a significant lead at least for the red team, simply because Blaze is missing, and he's going to be missing for another 15 seconds. Blue team is trying to slow things down, but they are risking of staggering deaths here. It's a frozen Punisher, so once taken, this bad boy is going to do some work. They have to fall back now, and they do. But the Punisher is going to be claimed. And this fort doesn't have a whole lot of hit points left, so it's 100% going to fall. And with the Frozen Punisher, you have a shot of claiming... I mean, maybe not the entire keep, but you can definitely do some damage. Take that wall down, you know. So they're going to grab that. And there's a camp at the top that they're setting en route to take the topside fort out. So this is likely going to cost the blue team 2 forts and maybe more. Maybe even a keep. Oh, not again! The hook! But he gets out. Gorge wasn't fast enough. Cattle did not gorge that quickly enough that it could have been a kill. So, already, the fort is destroyed. Again, another hook! Genji X strikes and dies. This is where things get dangerous. This is where things get really dangerous. This could be game. Topside fort going to be attacked by the Shaman. Over here in the middle, the keep is going to suffer. And they gorged again, this time against Diablo, and Diablo is dead too. Loses his souls. Oh boy, Team Nintorii is in serious trouble now. They're really in trouble. Chromie, no! They catch Chromie, they take her down. This is an utter disaster now. The keep in the middle will be dropped, and then they're gonna go straight for the core and try to end the game in the series and move on to the grand final. Diablo gets targeted again, he dies, it's over, it's game. We're gonna see Team Cure go up against Team YEAAABOI in the grand final in the best of 7 series. A 3-1 victory. Team Nintorii able to come back on Tomb of the Spider Queen with at least 1 point on the board, 1 win. But this is where it ends. Nicely done by Team YEAAABOI. Honestly, great series by them, well-deserved victory, and I can't wait to see them go up against Cure's team in the grand final. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.